Friends, welcome to JerAwards. Today we're going to go over our series, full series, all 55 episode recap of Shadowhunters. This thing was about fucking pitiful. I couldn't find it for the finale, but we found the box. If you're new here, all 55 episodes of Shadowhunters are both over on Patreon, uncut, unedited, and here on YouTube for free. But also, feel free to subscribe. Daily content. If there's a day, there's a reaction. Links in the description box down below for the Patreon, the Twitch stream, everything in between. Jerry will hang out with us. Nobody has to go behind the scenes. And we're just going to talk about Shadowhunters. We're going to go over the JerAwards for favorite scene, most heartbreaking scene, favorite character, etc. for the entirety of those 55 episodes. Now, with that being said, this will probably be a lot shorter than all the other ones. I mean, especially coming off of Supernatural, which was 327 episodes, 15 seasons worth of stuff. Now to have 3 seasons worth of stuff feels weird. I think this is actually the shortest show that we've watched. Everything else is like continuing. Like even Stranger Things was just 4 seasons, but we're continuing because it hasn't wrapped up yet. The Boys is ongoing. Gen V is ongoing. Advanced, all those things, even Love, Death, and Robots is ongoing. It was the shortest complete thing, which is unfortunate. So let's just talk about Shadowhunters. Overall opinion is it is a show that it's hurt from lack of episodes. The studio issues causing the cancellation is fucking whack. All right, let's be real. They needed a 4th season, and I'm actually going to go to a message I got here. Shout out our friend Arc of Jonty giving me some information on this. So the creator said that they planned for a season 4 before everything happened. Magnus would have been in Edom for the majority of the season, as he should have been. Would have had kind of like a dark Magnus storyline where he starts to fall back into habits he had like with his fathers, but eventually he'd be pulled out as he should have been. Clary's storyline would have been mostly about healing from things that she did while attached to Jonathan, and there would also be a lot of like the human / chill moments between her and Jace. The whole of season 4 was going to explore why Izzy caught fire while, with the Simon thing. Would have been much more of a slow burn. The Seelie Queen and Jonathan both would have still been alive, and the relationship would have been explored much further, and a lot more expansion. The lore of the Seelie Queen and Lilith would have been slowly lurking in the story. And it says the main after show interviews and stuff, which I think sounds perfect. I think season 4 would have benefited tremendously with even 16 episodes, maybe 20 full-blown episodes. But this show is story driven. It's not episodic. There's not cases being solved. There's not monsters to be defeated. This is the story, and I appreciate that, and I had a lot of fun with it. I like the show. There's a lot of cringe. There's a lot of bad moments, but the good moments are really great, and these characters are easy to get attached to and easy to fall in love with, and I could see why this would have almost like a cult style following to it to some extent. So we're going to go kind of season by season and talk about it. It'll be kind of brief. We're just going to go with the broad story. We get introduced to Clary, Jace, Alec, Izzy, Simon, and Luke kind of right off the bat, right? So Clary's 18th birthday, she's able to see what we know are Shadowhunters and Jace. He's confused as to why she can see her. This is the first like Shadowhunter, natural born, whatever the hell, in forever, basically, since they were born, I guess. So this girl, like, who is she? Where did she come from? We watched this girl on her 18th birthday, which apparently the whole show takes place in like the course of like fucking 3.5 hours. We watch her go from being this innocent type of like, oh, I'm just going to go home and paint style of character to a full-fledged Shadowhunter over the course of it. It feels like her transition into being a Shadowhunter in the first season is very, very rushed. It's like, you're a Shadowhunter. Next thing you know, she's out there fucking stabbing things. Still unsure about it, but she's stabbing things. So Clary's the focal point of this, which we fucking just threw the dart into the bullseye right off the rip. Valentine, set as our main antagonist, of course, ends up being her father. We have Jocelyn Fairchild, her mother, who's captured and put into like a stasis type deal for the majority of the first season. And the goal is to rescue Jocelyn, as she used to be a former Shadowhunter, which comes into Luke being her former flame and those other characters we mentioned, which is Jace, Alec, and Izzy. They're all three brothers and sisters. Izzy and Alec, of course, being blood related, Jace being adopted, Jace and Alec being parapeti, which just means that they've taken an oath. Why was there an L in there? An oath to have each other's backs, basically. They're connected. They're more in tune with one another. And if something was to happen to one, it would greatly affect the other, which is upsetting because moments like that happen and we don't really get too much of a emotional payoff from it. But the whole first season is a lot of cringe. There's a lot of poorly acted scenes. That's not a knock on it anyways. These are young people out here probably in their first show, and it ends up with like, it's like, okay, we can see there's legs to it. Let's just see where it goes. Also with those characters, Clary obviously has the hots for Jace because he's this young attractive dude who's also a badass, but meanwhile her best friend Simon's right there who's clearly in love with her. And over the course of the first season, we learn about mortal instruments, one of which being the Mortal Cup. And if Valentine is to get the Mortal Cup, the world would end, except it doesn't. But with the Mortal Cup, he's able to raise more Shadowhunters, and it would just be an all-out war. Now, with these Shadowhunters, they have angelic blood in their system, and angel blood and demon blood end up playing a big factor in all of this. So the whole first season is the hunt for the cup and to get Jocelyn. They end up freeing Jocelyn, and they end up losing the cup over to Valentine, who raises an army. Now, throughout this, we get, like I mentioned numerous times, Izzy as a character was hyper sexualized in the first season compared to other seasons for some reason. But we do get her and Meliorn's relationship. We get introduced to a powerful warlock by the name of Magnus Bane, who falls in love with Alec the first second that he sees him. Tall drink of water. Back in the day, Magnus erased Clary's memories due to her mother's orders. They try to get it back. She ends up sacrificing those memories to save her friends, her newly found friends. But through the course of this, Magnus, when watching those tributes, I thought Magnus was going to be like a villain who another character was in love with. I remember Magnus Bane clearly. Too flamboyant to forget, but it felt like he was going to be kind of like an evil person, and that was like every once in a while with him. Then again, I don't remember the tributes or any of those clearly, but he's just a wholesome boy throughout. Simon also dies and comes back as a vampire. There's a whole vampire thing with Camille and Raphael and all these other characters, right? If you're here for an explanation of the show, this isn't it. I'm just going off my memory. So season 1 ends, and it's decent. Season 1's decent. Here comes season 2 around the corner, and we get a bunch of quality of life changes the way the runes look, the circle members look, the way that the swords look, the seraph blades look, this, that, and the other. So all the quality of life changes greatly improves on the show. And coming into I can't remember if it happened at the end of season 1. I think it was at the end of season 1 or somewhere towards the back end of season 1. Where there's this reveal of Clary's baby brother that died when she was a little kid. Like, this was, or maybe it's her older brother, excuse me, that died as a baby or some shit. His name is Jonathan, which is Jace's real name. And that ends up being her brother, this guy who she's been making out with. And this, that, and the other is her brother. There's a lot of, not just that could be anything. With everything else in it, there's a lot of Star Wars vibes to the first season and a half, really. So going into this, Jonathan Jace is with Valentine, our main antagonist, with the Mortal Cup. The Mortal Cup never plays out to be this devastating weapon. In the second season, we also meet this character named Sebastian. Sebastian is a Shadowhunter from another place who helps Izzy with her yin fin addiction, which is vampire poisoning or venom. She ends up falling in love with Raphael. Raphael falls in love with her. But they really can't. Raphael's not about sex. He just likes the intimacy of the relationship. But issues and feeding on her and her with the blah, 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 all this shit. We then get introduced to another mortal instrument, which is known as the Soul Sword. Hilarious name. And the Soul Sword, if touched by someone with demon blood, would just absolutely destroy the sword. If someone with angelic blood touches it, it would kill any downworlder in the vicinity. So now there's 2 mortal cups mentioned with one on the horizon. There's a third one lurking out there somewhere. So Valentine's basically trying to get his Infinity Stones to destroy the Downworld. Well, Valentine, who's revealed to be Jace, Jonathan's father, he basically tells him that he has demon blood. He experimented on him when he was a kid, and that Clary has angelic blood. So Clary cannot touch the Soul Sword ever. She would kill all the Downworlders. So as they form an army and they go to take care of all of this shit, Jace tries to save the day by grabbing this blade, and in doing so, he activates it and kills all the Downworlders around because, bam, 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 he didn't have demon blood. The boy had angel blood. Bam, 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 he's not Clary's fucking brother. They were just lying the whole time. Lies right to his face. This kid has no idea what his identity is. So Clary at this point has moved on to Simon, her best friend. They're making out. They go down to the fairy world where Sealy Queen, that's the name for the fairies, makes her kiss the person she most desires, right? So she kisses Simon, nothing happens. This is to save lives. Nothing happens. But then she kisses Jace, and they're free to go. And Simon's like, you know what? If you ain't gonna put me first, I'm not about it. So then he moves on to this girl named Maya, who's a fucking werewolf, and they do sex. And Clary goes back to Jace, and it was very awkward. And then there's this Sebastian character who turns out is the real Jonathan. And Jace fucking kills him. Valentine gets the mortal sword and the mortal cup, and all they have to do is drop it into the fucking mortal lake of shadows, whatever they called it, the mirror lake. And in doing so, that summons the angel Raziel, which is what all of their blood's from. In summoning the angel, they can make one wish. And the wish they assume most people would make would be to destroy all the Downworlders, right? To free the world from this issue. Well, Valentine drops the mortal cup and the mortal sword into the lake. The angel rises. He kills Jonathan, but here comes Clary, who now has to kill her own father and uses the one wish to bring Jace back to life. There's where I kind of have some issues because, yes, she does that, but we don't really get to see Alec emotionally distraught about his peripetia actually dying as it was explained it would be, which is okay. It just felt a little lackluster is all. Oh, and through the course of this, Jocelyn, who was like a big part of season 1, dies early on in season 2 to Alec, who was possessed by a demon. That was also a thing. So then, now that the one wish has been made, we move on to season 3. For some reason, season 3 is more of a blur. There's no more mortal instruments except Psyche. The mortal sword is there at some points. Because Jason was brought back to life, he's able to get manipulated. Lilith, the mother of demons, wants to resurrect her son, Jonathan. Turns out he's the reason that he has these powers. The Steely Queen finds interest in Simon and implants a mark on his forehead that stops him from being able to take damage, aka the Mark of Cain. So they go to stop Lilith. They trigger her into attacking Simon. The thing goes off right before she's able to resurrect Jonathan. And he kills Clary. At least that's what everybody thinks. The whole time Jace has been possessed, attacking his own friends. They find it out to the shock of no one. Oh my God, Jace, it's ya. And we go into the back half of season 3 where Jonathan has been resurrected. He's still really horny for his sister, and it's weird every time. Valentine comes back, he gets resurrected, he dies. There's a rune from Lilith that links Clary and Jonathan together, so if one of them takes damage, the other takes damage. If one dies, the other dies. So the whole goal is to get that off of them. They're finally able to do that. The angels are pissed at Clary because she's been getting visions and making her own runes, and they say if she uses it one more time, they're going to take it all back. So they all fucking, hell breaks loose. Malik breaks up. I'm leaving out so much shit, and I don't want to backtrack. Malik breaks loose. They break up, but it's all a ruse because Alec was only doing it to help fucking give Magnus his magic back because he lost it. His father, a deal, and then he finds out the truth, and they're in Edom, and they kiss and make up, and Magnus saves the day and stops hell, and they shut hell down. Then they wrap up the show, and there's a wedding, and Clary uses her runes to kill Jonathan after Izzy killed Lilith. And because of that, the angels took away her powers, and she loses all memories of the shadow world, except she sees Jace, and she's like, hey, your name's Jace. And then roll credits. Now, I fast forwarded a lot through season 3 right there. Don't ask me why. It just all kind of got mushed. A lot of good shit happens, the littlest stuff, but it's all very rushed due to time constraints, really. That's all it is. Time constraints really fucking hurts this show. And there's a lot you could go through and nitpick and change I didn't make notes on. But we get a lot of really good characters. And again, I can see the cult following for the books, for the TV show. I think at some point I may even watch the movie. So we'll have to wait and see. That could just be like a Patreon exclusive gimmick. So anyways, that is my recap of Shadowhunters. It was good. Again, I liked it. I had a blast. I don't know where it'll rank on my all-time shows watched on the channel, but it wouldn't be last. It wouldn't be first. I don't know if it's in the top 10. Okay, I had to take a second, and I'm pulling up my list of shows here that we've watched on the show. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't. Ooh, that is rough. I don't think it cracks. It's not gonna crack the top 10. Potentially the top 15 of. You know what? I haven't even updated this to put Supernatural in it yet. We've watched about 30 shows so far. I would say top 15. I think that's good. I mean, considering the shows that we've watched, right? If you're like, well, what the fuck? The Vampire Diaries, Teen Wolf, Stranger Things, The Originals, The Boys, The Last of Us, The Obi-Wan, Squid Game, Loki, WandaVision, The 100, Arcane, Lucifer, House of Dragon, Invincible, most of them, like 90% of the Marvel shows, Love, Death, and Robots, Peacemaker, Outer Banks, etc., etc. Wednesday. There's a lot of shit in here. So I think this cracking the top 15 potentially, that's good stuff. Yeah. I think we take it from there and we go into our JerAwards for Shadowhunters. Here we go. We're going to kick things off with our favorite episode. 3 nominees, 3 winners from each of the seasons. Your season 1 winner comes from episode 11, entitled Blood Calls to Blood. From season 2, episode 10, it's By the Light of Dawn. Or from season 3, episode 11, that middle episode every time, Lost Souls. So I believe season 2, episode 10 is... Lost Souls is a damn good episode. I want to put that out there because everybody was a lost soul, man. Every single person. It really put emphasis from the title and how affected everybody was. I think my favorite episode of the entire show is season 2, episode 10. That's By the Light of Dawn. I think that's the one where all the big reveals happen at the end. Phenomenal. Season 2, episode 10 is my favorite episode. Favorite scene. Your nominees from season 1, episode 11, Clary's Cup Fake Out. From season 2, episode 16, The Big Family Dinner. From season 3, episode 22, The Wedding Between Alec and Magnus. Now, the wedding was a clear frontrunner until I really sat and thought about it. I think, honestly, my favorite scene, them getting married it's easily perfection. I think my favorite scene is Clary's Cup Fake Out. Because I didn't see it coming. And it's like, the cup doesn't work. What the fuck's going on? And it's like, oh, I've had the cup the whole time. I can make them, like, one-upping Valentine was so goddamn good. And while I think Clary's character could have used a lot of improvement at times, that moment, fucking badass, dude. Most heartbreaking scene, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the winners last. Season 1, episode 11, Jace seeing his father again, which wasn't really his father. Season 2, episode 12, Magnus being tortured because he was mistaken as Valentine. Oh. But your winner, dude, season 3, episode 18, I cried, was Alec breaking up with Magnus. Fuck that. Our funniest scene from season 1, episode 2, I hate camping. From season 2, episode 6, actually that's the winner. From season 3, episode 2 was the butterfly tattoo comment. From season 2, episode 6 is the winner of the funniest scene in Shadowhunters. Because Magnus has slept with 17 people No, 1,700 people. No, 17,000 people. I mean, that boy is ran through. And if I'm Alec, first thing we got to do is have your ass take an STD test. Once you're good, we're in there like swimwear. Favorite kiss was a hard one to pick because Alec and Magnus are on here twice, from season 1, episode 12, and season 3, episode 20. Simon and Maya won season 2, episode 18. The one from episode 20 in season 3 was the makeup kiss, but my favorite kiss between them is the one that started it all in season 1, episode 12, when Alec abandoned his wedding to kiss his real lover. Favorite kill isn't even really a kill, so we'll announce that last. From season 2, episode 20, Clary killing Valentine was nice. Season 3, episode 5, Lilith killing Ethereal was fucking, like, oh my god, Jace, Antia. It was very fucking mind-blowing. But from season 1, episode 11, Luke fake killing Simon, I think is more funny than anything. I don't think it should even be on here as favorite kill. I think that should go to Lilith killing Ethereal. But Luke killing Simon it's an all-time banger. Favorite quote. Your winner's last again. We didn't have one for season 3. From 112, you're immortal, but you let her kill you. Ragnar to Magnus talking about his love for Camille. But the winner, season 2, episode 6, was Magnus talking to Alec. If you fail to grant time for things you care about, you'll forget why you're even fighting at all. Favorite ship from winning seasons 1 and 3 is Alec and Magnus. If you're like, why the fuck didn't they win all seasons? I really adored Simon and Maya in season 2. But Alec and Magnus, Malik is a top tier relationship in the entirety of shows that I've watched. Favorite friendship goes to Alec and Jace with their parapatai bond. Just overall, there's not a lot to really go off of there because it seemed like relationships were focused more than friendships. And there's a lot of friendship things that happen. It just, I don't know. I feel like even Luke and Ollie could have been on here if she was featured more in season 3. Most underrated character, he won every single season, was Magnus, because he just felt super, I don't even think he's underrated, but he did so much stuff in the background for people that he just deserved the award. Least favorite character of the entire show is Jonathan, because he was fucking boring. And I love the dude that played him as Sebastian. I just didn't care. And then when the new actor came in, I cared a little more, but I still didn't care. And that's not the actor's fault. That's not the director's fault. It's not the show's fault. I just didn't care. I felt like we could have been doing something else. Maybe it is the actor's fault. I don't know. I just didn't get what I felt I should be getting as an antagonist like we got from Valentine. Or hell, as boring as Lilith was at times, when she was there, like she was there. I don't know. I can't pinpoint it, but Jonathan's easily my least favorite character of the entire show. For favorite character, Magnus and Simon split the win in season 1 as co-captains. But that's a nod to Teen Wolf. Your winner for favorite character for season 1, 2, and 3, a 2.5-time winner, basically, would be Sir Magnus Bane. Because who the fuck else would it be, right? Simon was there sometimes, but he made some really dumbass decisions. And so yeah, we'll leave it at that. Favorite season/season rankings. We'll go from least favorite to favorite, and least favorite's not even bad. Least favorite season was season 1, which we entitled Holy Grail, which was the search for the cup. Season 2, we entitled From the Heavens, which was summoning the angel. And season 3, which barely beats out season 2, if we're being honest, To Hell and Back. This is going to Edom, Lilith, Asmodeus, why did I say Asmodeus? Asmodeus. Even the Supernatural got me fucked up. Oh god, his name's Asmodeus. Anyways, season 3 was my favorite. For favorite finale, season 1 was my least favorite. We have an army. That was Val with the cup and all of his people. Season 3 was self-sacrifice. Clary giving up her memories to stop Jonathan. But my favorite finale was season 2, which was From the Ashes. And that is Jace coming back, Jonathan coming back, Lilith being shown, and killing Valentine. So good. So I guess we'll wrap this son of a bitch up with our in memoriam. Not everybody's listed here over the course of all 3 seasons. It's just the most prominent characters. So rest in peace or rest in piss to the following characters: Pangborn, Captain Suzanne Vargas, Simon Lewis, Jace's Falcon, Raynor Fell, Welky, Jeremiah, Hodge, Jocelyn Fairchild, Kaylee, Heidi, Sebastian Verlack, Dot, I think? I don't know. Jonathan Christopher Morgenstern, Jace, Valentine, Valentine again, Russell, Heidi again, Iris, Jordan Kyle, Lilith, the Sealy Queen, Jonathan again, and Clary's Memories. So one more time for Welky, Jocelyn, Sebastian, Valentine, Heidi, Jordan Kyle, Lilith, the Sealy Queen, Jonathan, and Clary's Memories. Again, rest in dirt or rest in piss. Leads us to our outro / our wrap up. It was a good show. I've said it a couple times. It could have been better. We may eventually watch the movie at some point. It's just 2 hours. I think I could take 2 hours out of my day for you guys. We're still behind on a couple things, but that's okay. And that's just, yeah. I mean, 55 episodes came and went so quickly. We started this on May the 27th. You guys will get this series recap on August the 20th. That's just 3 months, man. It went by so quickly. And there is nothing tomorrow on Wednesday, August 21st, but the 22nd will be season 1, episode 1 of Legacies, which I will start recording within the next couple of days. So that's pretty exciting. And enjoy the evolution of the room, because we're going to get some shelves back here. We're going to get some stuff for some statues. Obviously, we got the Deadpool head, that brand new WoW statue. We got Jerry. We got all these things to put up and get organized for you, and to get the camera in a good place, and just to get everything all situated. So I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate you guys voting for Shadowhunters. Again, you all voted for Shadowhunters. I know viewership kind of dipped. I don't know if that's me, or if it's because of the show or the broader audience. But for it being as voted on as it was, yeah, I feel like there been a better. Listen, I'm not knocking nobody. Maybe I'm just going to take the blame myself for it. I don't mind when numbers are down or up. It doesn't make no difference. This is for you all to watch whenever you can watch it. But when people voted on the 100, I mean, they fucking showed. So many people showed up for the 100. It crashed Patreon. That's the craziness. But we're going to wrap this up. I got my 30 minutes recorded. Obviously, it'll be edited down to a lot lower. But thank you guys for hanging out for 55 episodes. All those episodes are on Patreon or here on YouTube for free. The first and last episode should be free on Patreon, hopefully by the time you see this. If not, just yell at me. I'll make the button in case I forget. But again, thank you. I appreciate you. I will see you Thursday for the Legacies. Wrapping up the Vampire Diaries. Ooh, wee, ooh, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bing, bang. Links and everything will be in the description box down below. Playlist will be up on screen. As always, stay cute, stay hydrated, and I will catch you on the next one. By the Angel.